Boomer, okay.
Welcome to Owen and Beru's BBQ. Today we're cooking up something really good. I know everybody is loving that Jawa suka, you know, the egg that has marshmallowy Cadbury texture. We have some special chefs in the house tonight, Chris and Nick. I feel like the whole gang is back together, but more importantly, we have the podcaster who puts the sizzle in every show. This podcaster is almost like the fourth Owen and Beru podcaster, you know, like the George Martin, you know, of this show. So welcome to the show, Colleen. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, it's good to be here. Just call me the Sizzler, I guess.
You bring home the bacon to this show every podcast,
and it's just such an incredible upgrade from last week.
Oh,
well, as long as she doesn't get confused black actors, you know, and mistake them.
Oh, damn it! Yeah. So, all right.
Last week was your OK Boomer episode.
Yeah.
Millennials and Gen Xers.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Chris, you want to go ahead and redact anything that you may have misspoken.
You know what? Nope. Let it ride. No. In all honesty, so I did make a couple of wildly incorrect statements on last week's show, and I realized this within 8 hours of us recording because I got called out publicly by Ralph. I did say that Carl Weathers was on Lost, and he wasn't. It was definitely Billy D.
Yep.
And then I also mentioned Werner Herzog was on Man in the High Castle.
Yeah.
He wasn't. And here's the funny thing about that too. He's like, I screwed up like 3 times essentially, because with the Werner Herzog thing, in my head, I was actually thinking of the pilot episode of Watchmen when the girl's typing, and he's like, who knows English, right? And he brings her into the office to type out that pamphlet. In my head, I was thinking of that, but I thought that was Man in the High Castle. So dude, I blame it on sleep deprivation.
You have a baby, so
you have what, 6-month-old, 7-month-old?
7 months, yeah.
Yeah, May,
March, no, April.
No, I was going to say no. Your daughter's March.
Yep.
her birth still shows up in my time hop every year.
Oh, really?
It really does. What is she, March
Nice.
20th, 21st, something like that?
3, 2, 1, 1, 2.
Okay, so 21st. Yeah, she shows up at my time hop because we were doing Media Junkyard at the time.
That's right. Yeah. So the story goes that actually the last Comic-Con I went to, I got off the plane, came home, and that's when my wife told me that we're having a kid. Hence my last time going to Comic-Con. My daughter's 7 and my son is 7 months.
Well, somebody got to just bring them all to San Diego because your children will both get in for free, and your wife can either hang out by the pool or, you know, get a pass or something.
Yeah, and that idea is not it is not unlikely. So, you know, because we have friends who live in San Diego County, so we've been actually trying to find an excuse to get out there because they have a daughter now. So we haven't been there since they've had their kid. So
all the
maybe
babies. Cool.
all the babies. And
speaking of babies,
well, before we get into the baby of this recent Mandalorian episode,
I just love it so much. Oh my goodness, I can't even.
And that's why I wanted Colleen along, because I knew the 3 of us guys would not get into acute overload.
Both times I watched it, I was like, "Oh my god, it's so cute! I can't even." It's so cute.
That was my daughter the entire time.
So I watched it the other night, or when was it? I forget what day it was when I watched it, but
Right.
I was home with my daughter and my son. My wife was, I think she had to work. She's had to work like in the parent teacher conferences that do them like twice a week, which is brutal. Mm-hmm. So I was watching it one night. It's probably Friday. And she's supposed to be in bed. But I got her, first of all, fast forward or reverse, I got her to watch Rebels.
Yes.
I think she's into it.
Okay.
So whenever there's anything Star Wars on there, she sees that as an excuse to have her dad let her watch TV when she's not supposed to. But she popped her head out and she saw Baby Yoda and she goes, "Oh my God, he's so cute. What happened to Yoda? I love Baby Yoda." And I'm like, yeah. Okay, come on in. You can watch it. So she watched a little bit.
It's just, yeah.
He is pretty damn cute.
Alex, of all people, our 21-month-old son, 21-month-old, 22-month-old, what? 22-month-old. Yeah, we're getting close. 21-month-old. Yeah, Peanut Gallery is commenting down here. We figured out that the way to get to watch TV is to ask Jay to watch DuckTales. Wait, DuckTales?
Race cars, lasers, airplanes.
Yeah.
It's a blur. You guys remember that Nintendo game, DuckTales?
I do.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was one of the few games growing up as a kid that I think that was one of those games like I knew every pixel. Like I knew every inch of that game. I've probably had completed that game 1,000 times, and I knew every single inch of that game. If I picked it up right now, I could probably do it again. I won't.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get into a Ramblecast here, but I went ahead and subscribed to the whole package, the thing, and I'm looking forward to actually getting into Tailspin because it's something I have not watched in almost 30 years. So
Cloud Kicker, man.
Yeah. DuckTales as well. I will get into DuckTales too at some point.
DuckTales is fun.
I'll put it on my watch list. There's a lot of things I keep throwing on my watch list, and and checking out some of the movies, and I mean there's a lot to offer.
I know I almost sent it to Chris because it was some list, some websites like top 25 things about Disney Plus, and number 9 was Fly the Navigator.
Absolutely. So I put that on my personal Facebook page, which is funny because like there's certain posts that I don't put on my own personal page because they go to the patron or the Facebook group for Kane and Jack. And I was like, you know what, whatever. I'm just gonna put this on there. And I posted it.
My life.
I posted it, and I was overwhelmed with the responses. People were like, "Oh my God, yeah, that's awesome. That's on there. I'm getting Disney Plus." I'm like, welcome to the nerd world.
Colleen has.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Colin. Go ahead.
She's
Colin.
so polite.
Yeah, no. With Chris, you got to learn just to interrupt.
No. Chris and we go back. I remember when Chris said, "I'm going to propose to my girlfriend" back in the day. So, I mean, you too, Nick. I've known you two since, oh my God, the same time. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that being said, that was like 100 million years ago. But that being said, I was going to say, speaking of nerdy things that you watched on Disney Plus, we totally watched Sister Act yesterday.
Well done.
Go ahead.
And really loudly to all the music.
My God, Colin, we've known each other for 16 years?
Since 2007. That's not 16 years.
Oh, no, wait. That's when I started dating my wife.
12.
Yeah. Okay. That's still a long time.
You proposed to her at Christmas time?
Yeah, I did. It was actually while we were decorating the tree.
Okay, I specifically remember you telling me about your plans to propose.
Yeah.
And it was
cheesy. And it worked.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Jay handed me a beer and was like, "Will you marry me?" And I was like, "Yeah." To the beer and to the
You're like
ring.
Corona? Piss off.
Yeah.
It wasn't a Corona. It was a Step Up. It was a Sam Adams because, we were poor back then. So Sam Adams was like the next best thing. But no, I'm just kidding. Joke. But
She's not kidding. She's not kidding at all.
No, not at all.
It really was. It was a winter lager.
Okay. You're slumming it.
Well, I would not be the producer if I didn't try to get us back on track to Star Wars.
Get us back. Quick. Slimy egg guts. Go.
Well, Chris, you wanted to talk briefly about the new release, right, of Star Wars. What is it?
Yeah, that's right. So it's
Fallen Order.
It's the Jedi Fallen Order. Released this past week. Actually, it was last Thursday or Friday. I've only played it for about an hour, but I have it on Xbox on the console version of it. So you play this character who you find out very early on when you start playing that he has been like a Jedi in hiding, and he reveals himself to save his best friend. And he's essentially being hunted. So that's about what I've gotten so far. So he was trained as a Jedi as a young boy, and then went into hiding. And now that he's like assuming his responsibilities of a Jedi, he's learning the ways and trying to do the research and find this, that, and the other. But it's a fun game.
What time period are we talking here?
This is post Empire, so it's kind of parallel to the Mandalorian, actually. I believe. So yeah,
that would make him like almost 50 years old, though. Or no, sorry.
The character in the game, for lack of anything else, looks like Ron Weasley with the lightsaber, which is kind of annoying.
The actor is the one he's in Shameless. He was also in Gotham.
Okay.
Yeah, he is. He's a ginger. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but it's pretty cool. So, like one of the levels I played kind of like shed some light on like Star Wars lore that you don't see on screen, which is very, very cool. It's very reminiscent to some of like the books that we've been reading, like the Tarkin books and so forth and so on. But you actually are an employee working on a shipwrecking yard. So it's like all of the ships that were disabled in battle or destroyed in battle, they all get hauled to this planet, and you're actually working on the planet as someone who's like taking these ships apart to be reused and recycled. So good on you, Jedi, for being Earth conscious, even though you're not on Earth.
Isn't that the same? You think it's the same planet in the very beginning of Aftermath?
Could be. It could be. Yeah, I'll have to go back and look at it. I wasn't paying full attention, but. So that's when you kind of like assume the role of a Jedi. Yeah, it's it hits the fan and you have to battle to save your friend's life. So far, the gameplay of it is a lot of fun. It takes a little getting used to. I'm so used to playing like first person shooters and stuff. So you really have to get into like the whole idea of like lightsaber combat. But so far, it's been a lot of fun. For the time that I have had being able to play it, I haven't picked it up since I think Saturday afternoon. But
now before we hit record, like EA is notorious for making pay to play games. So
they are.
Have you not seeing that so far?
No. So this game is definitely not. It's a single player game. It's a campaign only game. So there's no multiplayer aspect to it. There's no microtransaction opportunity. I don't think. They might make cosmetic stuff available through the store. I doubt it, but so far it's a lot of fun, and it's one of those things where you can kind of like pick up and play and put it down and go back to it. Rather like for any video game nerds out there, when you're playing some of these competitive games, you kind of have to log into those games and play them first. And then this is kind of like I'll play a couple rounds of Apex Legends and be a nerd that way, and then I'll turn that off and I'll put Jedi on and I'll play it for about half hour, 45 minutes. But it's cool. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to love it because it actually dives deep into like some of the canon, stuff of Jedi. If you're not a Star Wars fan, you might like it, but I don't know. I mean, so far it's been a lot of fun. So if you haven't,
I've wanted to get it. I'm just not a video game person. Like we don't have a video game system in our house. And it's always been it's a thing. It's like I'm drawn to it like a moth to a flame. But then at the same time, I'm like, will I ever get anything done again?
Well, see, it's one of those things where video games. I'm a 30. How old am I? 39-year-old that has not let go of his childhood video games. So
you should.
I never will. Well, yeah, check it out. It's a lot of fun. If anybody listening has played it, send in your email with your review. Love to hear it.
Oh, great. And I keep hoping one day I will actually buy a console and a game system.
Yeah. Well, PS5 should be out probably in 1 year, I would think. So there's no point buying a PS4 now or an Xbox. I'm not sure when the new Xbox will come out, but
probably the same time. I have no idea.
Yeah. Literally cannot comment on any of this. I watch people play video games in my house, though. Does that count?
It does. It does count. Your opinion is valued.
I just like how that, like, Matt's whoever going like, yeah, we don't have a video game console in our house. And Colin's like, yep. And I'm like, what are you saying, Colin? I was like, you have tons.
We do. And I don't play any of them. I tolerate them and I watch them. I'm fine with them.
Yeah, I would love to get that game, actually. I mean, it's definitely a bit on, but it's the cost that I'm always like,
It's just not just the money cost, it's the time cost too. Because
right.
I mean, the amount that we podcast and the amount of shows that we watch, and movies that we watch are coming out, in order to have stuff to talk about. Like, if I got really in depth into Jedi Fallen Order, and then all of a sudden, it was time to record the Ramacast, I'd be like, you guys want to talk about Jedi Order for like 2 hours? Because that's all I got.
It's literally all it's been consuming my life for the last 24 hours.
Right.
There is.
So, as far as cost, though, Matt, if you're interested, I know that Microsoft is launching a new subscription service for their consoles for this holiday season, where you don't have to shell out, $300 for a console. You'll be able to pay like a monthly cost to essentially, lease it from Microsoft. Not unlike buying an iPhone or any, insert your phone here. It's actually, I believe it's going to be the financing is going to be serviced by the same organization that does the phone leases as well. So it is an option if you're interested in getting a console.
It's funny because I've kept every console I've ever purchased, from the original Nintendo all the way to present. And I feel like I'm gonna have a museum one day with them all lined up. Like, here's the NES, here's the Sega Genesis, here's the Super Nintendo, here's the 64, here's the here's the Wii, here's here's PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4. Like, it's all lined up. I'm like, wow, what is this?
A museum.
Yeah.
Or the room I'm sitting in right now.
Right.
Well, let's get to this episode, because I'm excited to hear your guys' thoughts on The Mandalorian Chapter 2, The Child. I talked with Jack about this on his Crazy Hank live video thing that we did on Saturday. And I picked up on a lot of little things. I'm always amazed at how much they cram into these episodes. I would love them to be longer, but I love how efficient they are. So
this one was really short. This one was 27 or 29 minutes.
Yeah, it's just
it was like right at 30.
Right at 30, yeah. So Colleen, since you're our special guest, what were your initial thoughts and feelings about this show, this episode?
It was a lot. So I liked it. It was a little more low key than the first episode, which was totally fine. As I've already stated, I thought that the Yoda species baby was so freaking adorable that I just couldn't handle it, and I wanted one. I was like, BB-8, what? Who? Yoda for the win. I think Boston will appreciate the freaking amazing floating stroller that he had.
Right?
Dude, right? I want one of those stat.
Jay was like, we could have another one if we had those in real life. And I was like, yes, let's find that in real life.
Every parent ever. I mean, that was like tethered to his armband in some weird kind of way.
That's what I wondered, if it was like something attached to his belt or his arm, or it was like it has to be a proximity to where it just follows it within so many feet or whatever. Yeah.
But I thought that was so cool. As a parent, I was also kind of jealous that he fell asleep so quickly. I was like, "What is
that?" He just has to use the force and not forcing something out.
That's the equivalent to them screaming themselves to sleep. Being so tired. No, but I liked it. I liked that. We saw the Jawas, or what did they call them in the? I swear, they said it differently, like Jawa or something like that.
Well, I still don't know how to pronounce the.
That's Nick Nolte for Jawa.
I know it was. And I even asked Jay. I turned to Jay and was like, "That's Nick Nolte, right? Like, I know he's in this. That's him, right? Like,
yeah, he's the Ugnaught. Yeah,
yeah. The last thing that I saw him in was the Angel Has Fallen movie with space Gerard Butler, and he was pretty awesome in that. But no, I liked it as a whole. I liked the little kind of nod to Last Crusade with that tank.
Oh yeah.
I wondered if you caught that. I was going to mention that if you didn't, because I knew it's like I bet Colleen got the Last Crusade reference in there.
Oh, that's like one of my favorite movies of all time, and we watch that every Christmas. So it's just I love that movie. So that was pretty awesome. I'm trying to think what else. I don't know, for weird existential reasons, I like the line where he was like, "I'm a Mandalorian. Weapons are part of my religion."
That's bad. See that was actually that's one of my biggest criticisms of the episode. Like it feels like it was so heavy-handed.
Jay explained to me that they went to war during the Clone Wars, and then they were peaceful creatures after that, and so he did explain to me that because I had made a comment that was like, "Ha ha ha, that's such an allegory for America." And he was like, actually, I feel like, well, actually, me in like the right sense of it, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I liked it overall. I don't think I feel like there wasn't any like deep, heavy things to talk about other than how freaking cute Yoda was. I just want to take it home and snuggle with it.
I'm amazed that once the baby Yoda was out of the bag, or the egg, so to speak, I'm surprised that the market's not just flooded with this stuff. Or are they waiting for December 1st to be like, oh, and by the way, get your baby Yoda plushie? So, because it's got to be a thing, right?
Black Friday reveal, man.
Black Friday reveal, yeah. All right, so Chris or Nick, I don't, I know Nick, you wanted to talk about the vac tube.
Talk about
the vac tube, yeah.
Yeah.
Nick, you can go ahead first, Nick.
Yeah, because Nick, you weren't here for our first episode,
right? Yeah, I mean, I have lots of things to say. I'm enjoying it. I think it's the best thing Disney has done with Star Wars. Did you guys spot in the first episode? No one said it. That Boba Fett's in it.
Yeah.
So whether or not,
or at least someone that looks like Boba Fett,
right? It's in the background,
right,
of when he enters into what is like his clan's den, I assume. So, I mean, we recorded that pretty quickly, like that night. So
I mean, you don't see it unless you really lighten up the screen,
right?
Like, you can see a little bit of a silhouette there.
Mm-hmm.
But like if someone roughly the same colored armor as Boba Fett is there, he does look like he has a beer gut though. But
my kind of Fett.
Yeah. But it's been 5 years since Return of the Jedi, so it makes sense. He's a little bit older, and who knows? Maybe they're just trying to confirm, kind of like what you guys did discuss. Maybe they're just trying to confirm some of these random little things, like did he crawl out of the Sarlacc pit? Did he not crawl out? The same as like that now because of Episode 1. It is basically confirmed that the Christmas special is canon.
Right?
Yeah. So you're like, oh wow, okay.
Hey, isn't today Life Day?
I read it on the internet, but yeah.
I think yesterday was Life Day, actually.
Yeah, yesterday was Life Day. So
what'd you say, Colleen? I'm sorry.
Oh, I just said when I say that I saw it, I mean I read it on the internet.
Well, that's all that matters.
But I'm familiar with what you're talking about because I did the research.
Chris, your thoughts about this episode specifically?
I'm also enjoying it. There's no doubt there's a huge contrast between episodes 1 and 2. I wasn't as huge of a fan of this episode as I was episode 1. I felt there's a few heavy-handed things going on, right? So, like I'm a Mandalorian. It's my nature, or whatever the hell he said. Weapons
are part of my religion.
So weapons are part of my religion, and he also goes, I was a a youngling or a foundling once. It's like, so there's some weird themes going on that, like, my crazy crackpot theory is he's actually not Mandalorian. Like they're really like shoving in your throat that he's the Mandalorian. It's like, yeah, dude, we get it. It's your show. Like, like,
I mean, it makes. I mean, you could be really onto something there, Chris, because that's in episode 1 when he says that. Because she sees the medal and says, this was gathered during the Great Purge, and the Great Purge is this part of time where basically all of Mandalore gets wiped out because they are a warrior
boys.
Yeah, they're a warrior class, and they're a threat. And so it does make sense, because if you do freeze frame that whole flashing sequence, you do see Clone Wars era droids in the background.
Yeah,
not the small ones, the little annoying ones, but the big ones.
So it just feels like we're being force fed that. Yeah, maybe I might be overanalyzing it, but that's my crazy crackpot theory, is that he's not actually Mandalorian.
Yeah, but he could be like an orphan, who was taken in by people and raised to be Mandalorian, but not an actual Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. So other than that, though, you think about like the thing that kind of, there's two things that kind of like really kind of rubbed me the wrong way with this episode. Otherwise, it was overall fun. The thing, like, he went and slaughtered half of the freaking Jawas, and then they were cool afterwards. Like, no big deal. You got some going to do a parlay for you. Got Nick Nolte being your parlay. It's just like,
Look, Chris, you saw what happened when he shot them. They disappeared. So they're now they became one with the Force. Okay, they're little Jawa Force ghosts somewhere.
So fun throwback. That in itself was an Easter egg. I don't know if you guys caught on to that or not.
Sure.
But if you go back to Empire Strikes Back, when Darth Vader is talking to all the lineup of the bounty hunters, including Bosk and Fett and IG-88, he points at him and goes, "And you. No disintegrating this time," or something like that.
No disintegrations.
Like, no disintegrations, right? So they did plenty of those in this episode. Yeah.
I just assumed that he said that because he was still pissed that he barbecued Owen and Beru.
Oh, true. But the other thing I was just kind of like, it was how great of a job they were able to rebuild a ship to go in travel through intergalactic space.
Well, they had a montage, man. We had
that was actually, I was going to say, just in the one montage worth of rebuilding. It was
I was like,
I almost want that montage like played with some electric guitar, and it's just like, I need a montage, and it's like he's like working out with his.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
I mean, seriously, it's like some real dude stuff there. They're like, lifting
just like
things.
Boba Zoolander.
Yeah, it's like he said it would take a couple of days, and it's just like, I mean,
it'd take a couple of days if you had a shipyard. But dude, they're like working on his back porch.
Come on, Matt. If Damon Lindelof and had tasked Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross with that score, you would have loved it.
I would have loved it. That is true. I just think that, like, if someone were to take apart and strip my truck completely to the ground, and I had to put it back together before I could drive home, I wouldn't make it. And I definitely wouldn't fly it into outer space.
You don't have an Ugnaught.
I'm saying.
Right? Like, I'm not flying that into outer space. Yeah. It's just, boom, it just blows up. It's just like a bubble. So
I know I had mentioned it at some point. I'm surprised in the first episode you guys had mentioned, like, that design for his ship is a Filoni original design that was supposed to be for the last season of the Clone Wars. That's supposed to be Ventress's ship.
Really?
Yeah. That's why they say that in episode 1, where he goes, I haven't seen one of these in a while. These are just, this is the Clone War. He says something like that. This is a Clone War era ship, and it's the exact same design that Ventress was supposed to have for her.
Nice.
Ship.
One other quick little shout out though, which I really like. I don't know if you guys, I'm really liking the end credits of the show. It's very like throwback to Ralph McQuarrie, like kind of like his concept designs. Mm-hmm. So I think that the end credits are really cool, and I'm liking the amount of detail that is being put into this and the thought that's being put into this. So overall, I'm still loving the show. Just episode 2 wasn't as strong for me, but
no, I agree.
It is what it is.
Yeah, wholeheartedly, Chris. Like I felt that really episodes 1 and 2 should have been one episode. Like it's like a continuation of just.
I agree, Nick.
It kind of just added on, like, oh, here's this. We want to end the episode 1 on a cliffhanger. So, and then the last little bit, all episode to me is just like a little, like, oh, here's what happens next, and then that's it.
But I kind of think of this as
at the same time.
What's that? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, or they could have released them at the same time. Like, here's your double episode, release, and then we're gonna get into the story after that. Like that would have been,
I do think that the show lends itself to Lucas's original idea about a serial, and the fact that each week you're having this kind of like, and now the next adventure or the next challenge that he faces. And to Chris, your point about the Mandalorian being like, I'm a Mandalorian, is I feel like he's very like kind of green. Like there's certain things that like he thinks he knows, and he's a little bit more blustery about like, well, I don't want to do that, or I don't want to ride a blurg. He's kind of got that like Luke Skywalker like whining.
Did you know that I'm a Mandalorian?
What gave it away? The helmet?
But I feel like he's got to like earn that Beskar. Like he's like every adventure that we're headed on with this Mandalorian, it's like we're seeing him.
I think you're hitting on something really valuable there, Matt. With because you even see it there with the Ugnaught. When he can't ride the blurg, he comes back and says, "You're Mandalorian. Your ancestors rode things." And then at that point when he says that, instead of giving up, he's like,
"That's right. I'm a Mandalorian.
So now I've got to do it. I've got to conquer." And then we get another montage of like, "Oh, I learned a bull ride in an hour."
Well, we got to put money on this. He's not a freaking Mandalorian.
That's actually
he's not.
No, when you put it like that, it's theory.
He's totally not.
The real Mandalorian is Baby Yoda.
Dude, he's going to take off his helmet in the final episode. He's going to pull it off, and it's going to be like Greedo's son. Like it's not Pedro Pascal. They've been fooling us this entire time.
Yeah, I know.
Pedro's not even in the show. It's actually some dude wearing a Greedo mask.
I like what that said.
What's that called?
That the real Mandalorian is Baby Yoda.
Is Baby Yoda. Yes. He's a clone.
He knows what
Mandalorian I am. you know, didn't? Telling you I have for 16 episodes.
Yeah, we won't find that out till season 2, right? So,
what if we find that out? We're all going to send Chris all of the, I don't know, something.
all of the beers. Go to you.
Actually, Matt called it, but Chris definitely made it happen.
A few things that I noticed about this episode that I wanted to mention. The red-eyed Jawas, right? They're not yellow-eyed.
They're not yellow-eyed, yeah.
And I wondered if that had something to do with the suns, right? Like Tatooine has 2 suns. Maybe they're yellow suns. Maybe the sun's a red sun. I don't know.
Maybe your contrast was down.
No, they're red.
They have red. Yeah,
I'm only kidding.
Okay. I think it's that Suka, man. Like once those Jawas, like, they're a little high on that egg yellow.
They really are.
One thing I really did love about the Jawas is we actually got a real front row seat, literally, of the Sandcrawler.
Yeah,
which is kind of cool. And how they all got super amped when they went downhill. Did you catch that? Like they were all like cheering, like, "Yeah, let's go!
I'm in 4th gear." Yeah.
Like, get some air, hit a jump.
You're not entertained.
Yeah, and I loved all the Sandcrawler action. I don't mind some of the funny bits too. The Mandalorian climbs all the way to the top only to get zapped. Mm-hmm. I think some of this stuff is kind of thrown in there, obviously, as having some levity in the show. Baby Yodas can eat whole frogs, right? Mm-hmm. Like I thought that was kind of like a cool, funny like little moment.
They're growing children.
Spit that out.
Yeah, he tells him to spit it out, and the Baby Yoda eats it.
Well, he's 50, so
Yeah. As somebody who frequently tells their children to spit that out of their mouths and then they swallow it, I understood that. I was like, oh, that's very accurate, actually. That's probably the most accurate thing on this episode. Happened today. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, so when I saw the very ending of the first episode, I wasn't sure how I felt about a Baby Yoda. I mean, Matt, were you conflicted at all when you saw it, or did you enjoy it? Because the reason why I said it's because Lucas
you fell in love. That thing's adorable.
Oh, it is adorable. I'm not saying I'm against it, but like it was just one of those moments where I always knew that Lucas was always very standoffish with explaining anything with Yoda's race or backstory. He always wanted that to be a mystery. Because whenever someone would ask him like about Yoda, he would just say it's an illegitimate child of Kermit and Mrs. Piggy, and that's all he would ever say. He wouldn't say much. And so now that they're kind of exploring in this, it's kind of a weird. I mean, I know that Mandalorian has Lucas's blessing because he actually did like it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, and they've got Filoni, which is basically George Lucas's clone. I was going to say his chosen adopted son or whatever. I mean, But
I did yell at him though once. I think I told you that story.
Yeah, you did. You did yell at him.
I yelled at Filoni. Yeah.
I would like to yell at all of the listeners to take a moment here for a commercial break.
36:37.
Oh, you're still going to send me this because I'm not writing it down.
No. Oh, yes, I am. For sure.
He's the best producer ever. He's got this on lock. So, Nick, did you hear my crazy crockpot theory from episode 1?
You refresh me. I mean, I listened to the episode.
So, my crazy crackpot theory from episode 1 is that Yoda is actually, or Baby Yoda, is a clone.
I don't believe that one.
No. Okay, then.
I mean, it's very plausible. It's very plausible.
Jack.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the time frame, if you go 50 years prior to what this time frame is,
it's 10 years before Phantom Menace,
which is it?
Mm-hmm. This is 5 years after. This is 5 years after Return of the Jedi, and we put it 10 years or 9 years actually, right before the Phantom Menace, is when Baby Yoda would be born, and so that has led to a lot of speculation about it's actually a child of Yoda, not Yoda clone.
I was going to bring that up.
Okay.
Colleen, you want to expand on that?
Sure,
Since you were really excited there, you're like, yes, this is my thing.
No, I just literally looked at Jay while we were watching it. I was like, oh my God, that's totally got to be Yoda's kid.
Yeah. It makes total sense for it to be Yoda's kid.
Look at me like that.
Because Yoda would be towards the end of his life as he was still. But
yeah, I mean, if Larry King and Keith Richards could do it, why can't Yoda?
Yeah, it puts him like roughly 800 something years old. But because if you look at episode 1, there is another member of Yoda's species in the Jedi Council, and her name is Yaddle, or Yaddle, however you want to say it.
We have to rewatch the first one today, actually.
Yeah. Who leaves the Jedi Council the same time as Count Dooku does.
Really?
Right after the Battle of Naboo. And so you don't know anything about her after that because a lot of stuff is no longer canon, I don't think. But it does leave a window there to where she could have had the baby and, Yoda might have never known about it. And then she went to raise it, and who knows what happened to her? Was she killed by during the Jedi?
I like how you're trying to protect Yoda's integrity.
Yoda
didn't know about it.
You are not the baby.
I want a Maury Povich episode of Yoda's life right now.
Yeah. Baby daddy, I am not.
Colleen, go ahead.
I was going to say this.
Can I just say I am not used to people raising their hands to speak on the show. It's really messing me up.
It's like so polite.
It's so freaking respectful. It doesn't feel right. Colleen, go.
I'm trying to be nice, and I generally edit all the other shows that I'm on, and I'm not editing this, so I know my issues. It's interruption, but shit. Now, what were we talking about?
Yoda being a daddy.
Oh yeah. So it's kind of like classic Disney Star Wars, right? Like I know Nick, you always compare like the parallels or whatever. Like Anakin didn't know that he had another one. If Yoda doesn't know that he has one to start, I mean, there you go. You just recycling it.
There's so many Force jokes that shouldn't be said.
But you could say them. Go.
I know. I actually could get in trouble for saying them.
We're trying to keep it a little.
Say one.
No.
Other things about this episode, I know we're not doing a traditional walkthrough of everything that happens in this episode, and why should we?
Doing that.
Well, I mean, there's really only like 3 chunks to this, half an hour episode, and it's basically, the he gets Baby Yoda, the ship is stripped, he kills Jawas, then he kills the Mudhorn, and then that's basically it.
Then he has a montage fixing his ship.
Right, montage fixing the ship. Yeah.
Everybody's working for the weekend.
I want to see the outs where they're like drinking beers and like throwing a couple back like after a long hard day, So because
I just can't get over. You got an Ugnaught just giving him days of free labor for nothing. You're like, what's wrong with you, man?
No, he didn't do it for nothing. He did it for the thank you for peace in his belly.
I know, but that's something like, really? Oh, okay. Like, come here more often.
Yeah, if somebody brings peace to my city, I'm not helping them rebuild their car. So, I wanted to mention that the suka or the egg from this Mudhorn is hairy. You guys ever seen hairy eggs before?
Well, I've eaten some hairy eggs.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah. Wow. We'll just read behind.
I don't know.
Yeah. We'll just read between the lines there.
Nick called the 80s.
He's open to stuff.
No. Okay, moving on.
Okay, moving on.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean,
I wanted to mention that the cave scene has this really cool moment where
it reminded you of The Hobbit.
Oh, is that what it reminded you of? It's The Hobbit.
It definitely did. Was like the eye opening, like smile.
Yes.
Opening, like.
Oh.
Well, and it's also kind of a callback to episode 1 as well, when the eye opens up, because they're kind of underwater and they're fiddling with something, and then the light shines on a fish, and then the fish eyes open up. But to circle back to the eye reference, as the Mandalorian is entering into the cave, we see this silhouette shape that looks like an eye. Actually, like the cave itself looks like an eye, and then you see the Mandalorian is kind of the iris of that eye. So if you watch that scene, there's an eye shape, and then it ends with the eye opening up. So I liked the combination of that. What are you showing us here?
He's showing us Baby Yoda.
Oh, okay. Just in.
Oh my goodness! Why you do
like, look at that little guy. He's so cute.
So cute. Is it a guy or a girl?
We don't know.
I was going to ask you that because I watched the first episode 3 times, and I don't remember when they said the subject is 50 years old. Did they say the subject is a 50-year-old male or?
No, they just said 50 years. Yeah.
Okay, so just the client is a 50-year-old is 50. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I was also wondering about that. Like, is the big reveal going to be that Baby Yoda is baby? Girl?
Yodisha?
Well, either way, Baby Yoda does not have his dad's eyes if it is Yoda's son or daughter.
It's true, because Yoda actually had iris,
blue eyes.
Yeah,
blue eyes. Yeah,
and this one's just like solid, like brown or solid black.
Oftentimes though with babies, like it takes a while for them for their eye color to change.
That's true.
It takes like 8 or 9 months at the maximum.
True.
And I mean, 50 years is probably a good time frame to like have your own natural eye color.
Yeah, because this, I mean, it's a child. It kind of walks around like a toddler. Clearly, it's not just crawling anymore.
So let's be real for a second. So what's today's date? Today's November 18th, right? Mm-hmm. So this has been out for 2 weeks and a half. So we're looking at November 11th. What's the over under on like a million of how many Baby Yoda dolls have been created before today. Like, because these things are going to sell like crazy. Like, this is going to be the holiday gift.
I want one for me.
Right? I mean, there's 4 going to be purchased from the hosts of this show. Like,
yeah, if it is in existence, somehow it is making its way into my daughter's stocking.
In existence.
They're just capitalizing off of Baby Groot. That's all.
I'm going to say this is this year's Porg.
Colleen, what did you say?
I have the Baby Groot bobblehead, and it is worth it. And I would get the Baby Yoda bobblehead too. Okay.
Fair enough.
Conversation piece in my office. I'm not gonna lie.
Like there's some sweatshop in like East Asia that's like churning out those little squishies. Like, you know how the kids have like the squishies, you're
ruining it for me. Stop.
Well, I mean, reality sinks in. The Force does not make them.
How do you know? You don't know that, okay?
So they're being made right now. Stop, you will not. More you will make.
You mean do or do not? There is no try.
There is only squishies.
I love that meme, the OK Boomer meme that came out of
Boomer OK. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what
Boomer OK.
That's hilarious. So
wait, can Chris say that like cleanly, and then you can just use it as a sound clip and like every so often?
Boomer OK.
I'm going to put this at the start of the episode.
That would be great.
With the Boomer OK, and then put the sizzle in.
Sounds good. I'm marking it. There's an R5D4 droid that looks very, very similar to the one that we see in A New Hope. So there's a couple callbacks here.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, just the scene is when he's trying to negotiate with the Jawas, and he gets mad and uses a flamethrower, much like Jango Fett. And all of the Jawas kind of part, and then you see this droid kind of in the background there. So
I'd say we've seen him use every weapon aside from, because he doesn't have a jetpack yet or a rocket. We've seen pretty much every weapon the Mandalorians we know, other than like the dark saber and the jetpack. He's used everything we know Mandalorians have. With the cord, the blasters, the flamethrowers. So no, of course we don't know if they have any thermal detonators, but
well, I'm sure we're gonna get thermal. Well, we saw one with the IG unit.
It's true.
It was right in the chest.
I assume that's what it was in his chest. Yeah,
that's what it looked like. I also wanted to mention that the first episode features the IG droid. Yep. This episode featured the Transdoshians attacking him. So there's this nice like little reference to Empire Strikes Back. It makes me wonder, like, in the next episode, are we going to get a Forlam or a Zuckuss appear? Something to reference back to.
It's one of the, I don't mind a callback every now and then. It was one of my issues with these 2 episodes is I think there's too much. Because like you have. The Kubas, the same sounds in episode 1 is the exact same audio from episode 4. Just like I was just like, okay. I was like, well, he can say some other things, but I wasn't quite sure about the carbonite, because like I was kind of with you, Matt. Like when you said that during episode 1, I was like, I only thought it was from Bespin. It was something that was like a surprise, and for him to have his own like carbonate chamber in his ship, I was like, I don't know. But that's just me being nitpicky.
Being nitpicky from like a casual-ish fan point of view. I was like, "Oh, that's so creepy and good for drama."
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, I said I have no issue with the episode as in what happens. It's just like me being factual.
Well, I mean, there's people that drive around that have mini fridges in their car. I mean, or their van, I should say. So,
our Southerners about to tailgate it.
Yeah, but a mini fridge isn't a deep freeze.
Okay, fair enough.
An Ugnaught can put it back together in 4 days.
Exactly.
Either way.
4 hours.
Yeah. With a montage.
Yeah, with a montage and a few beers. And then the cooking of Salacious Crumb, the eye stalk droid, from Jedi coming out, like a lot of the things, the Ugnaught was fine. So to me, it was just kind of like, it's a little bit much showing, all the call outs to the original trilogy. And then there's the plot. I mean, I don't know if you want to go on my nitpick.
Sure, yeah, go for it. This is what half of our listeners tune in for.
Yeah, like,
just to get mad at you.
Just to get mad at me. Yeah, like I said, guys, I really enjoy the show. It's just little things that bother me, especially me being a plot person. Because like Jack, very happily, I pointed out something the same as like Colleen did with the Indiana Jones references in this episode. Like so far, the overall story arc has been the Lone Wolf and the Cub, which is a Japanese anime.
I'm glad that you mentioned this because this was something that I'd wanted to mention.
Okay.
Because this episode actually reminded me of that.
Yeah, and so that was like something that I was like, I'm such an original story kind of person. I was like, so if I recognize where a story's going, it kind of sometimes turns me off. And that's when, like with episode 1, there's clearly a lot of Butch Cassidy and its kid references, which is what Jack had noticed. And in this one, it's very much Shane, which is also a 1950s Western, especially with the line that the Ugnaught says with there being, thank you for bringing peace to the valley. Well, the actual quote is, there aren't any more guns in the valley, which is from Shane. And so I was like, okay, so like, that's what I'm saying. Like the parallels that I can see between actual established Westerns and this show, which I mean, it's for kids. And so it's fine, but it's one of those things that I noticed. I'm just like, oh, okay. So I hope.
So you're saying is that the Mandalorian is like Logan, the Wolverine movie?
The little what movie?
The Wolverine movie.
Logan. That's exactly that's what Logan was just a ripoff of Shane. So. I mean, that's what that was too. It's the Lone Wolf and the Cub.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Logan's really depressing.
It is,
yeah. And not great. Sorry.
I mean, it did get overhyped for what it was. I was kind of
okay.
Yeah,
I think it's okay that they reference these things because I don't feel like those things that they're referencing are taking over.
No, they're not
the main story. So I kind of like those little nods, like even the idea that this floating crib is kind of like this Cub's fortress, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, the floating egg on the inside is yellow, very similar to like the inside of the egg of the mudhorn. And so I thought there was some like really weird kind of ideas about what we eat, what's sacred. Like it's kind of a weird like thing, like this egg. I mean, it's like there's 2 eggs in the show, like the pod egg that Baby Yoda sits in, and then this mudhorn.
So. It also looked like the inside of a Cadbury egg.
Yes.
I know
that is literally the first thing I thought. I'm like, oh my god, that's a huge Cadbury egg. They're getting stoned off of this thing because it is like the best thing ever.
It does have a cute toy inside.
Mm-hmm.
There was one thing I wanted to mention that about we got to see an attempt at a force heal by Baby Yoda, which I thought was really neat because we've only seen that in like video games, and would he actually? I thought that was so cute. Him just kind of like waddling up that one little arm, just kind of.
It's super cute.
I'm trying to fix you. I'm going to pick you up because you're annoying me. But he did. He tried to force heal his little cut there, like E.T. almost, Chris there. Which, ouch. He just said ouch, and it would have been fixed.
Ouch.
I'll be right here.
Oh, so, yeah, and it was funny, like typical, impatient parental figure is like, all right, come on. Boston knows what I'm talking about. He's been recently.
And the fact that like the kid does it once and then puts him back in the crib and then does it again.
Nope.
That's it. Like I'm locking you up. So
he did. He totally locked him up. Do the curtain down.
Yeah.
I noticed it too. It was like, here's your white noise, here's your curtain closed, and
he's got his monitor put on his hip. He's good to go.
He's a natural at this parenting.
In that scene, we actually see the Mandalorian like working on his armor, and he's like,
yes,
he's doing something at that armor, and then by the end of the episode, it's all busted up.
Like, but he can fix his dang ship. I mean, go figure. Like he spends the entire episode trying to fix his metal plate armor, and he screws it up. But he can make a ship fly in hyperspace. No problem.
He needed like the laundromat montage for his armor.
He did.
To me, it was almost like a Predator scene.
It was
where you just get out the medical kit, and like he's bleeding his green blood, and just clips it together.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
That's right. You gotta say it more like Australian. I can't do it. Austrian.
There's something out there, and it ain't no Mandalorian.
Get to the chopper.
Oh yeah, that's that movie with Billy D, right, Chris? The Predator.
To be fair, I was like, when you were bringing up the Lost episode, I was just like, I was so confused. I was like, okay, so maybe he's a background character in that? Like, there's no way he's talking about Billy D. Williams. And then I was like, is he on another Lost episode that I just don't know about?
I spoke so confidently about it. You're like, I'm just going to let him run with it.
I did. So anyway, any other last thoughts about this episode?
Okay. Now we're on agreement that Baby Yoda is extremely cute.
Most deaf.
But where do you guys? Let's do some crackpot theories here.
Okay.
Where do you see the next 6 episodes going? Because I personally would like for him to. I don't think he'll give Baby Yoda to the bounty. I think he'll rebel against that. But I don't want to see a whole season of Baby Yoda, because I want to see an actual traditional Western. I don't want to see him just protect this baby for a whole season. Now, you guys might want that, and that's fine. But I just kind of – or do you see him giving it up? Or what do you guys
All right.
see this?
Crazy-ass crackpot theory.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to deliver Baby Yoda to Luke.
That's – I kind of thought that too, because not.
I think he's because we know there's a lot of characters we haven't seen yet, right? So we have like Gina Carano, the MMA fighter / terrible actress.
I wondered if he was the armorer, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of characters we haven't seen yet, and we also have 6 episodes left in the season, and it's clear that there is a level of or a battle for morality with the not Mandalorian. So I feel like that he is going to have some type of influence. He's going to meet somebody and say like, okay, like this is the remnants of the Empire are trying to take over. They're trying to get their hands on someone who's force sensitive or force enabled. We have to stop that from happening because we don't want the Empire to get back up. And then they're going to probably find some way to have Yoda be reunited with his own kind, and that being a Jedi.
Or is this going to set something else up that we don't even know about?
Mm-hmm. Could be.
It's Disney. They love their spinoff.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Could be.
Colleen, did you have any other crackpot theories beyond the spinoff series with Baby Yoda and doing Baby Yoda things?
Who, me?
Yeah.
It's like a Muppet baby show where it's just Baby Yodas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Muppet Baby Yoda.
It's Baby Yoda and BB-8.
Oh my God. I'd also watch that. No, I was enjoying listening to what Boston had to say.
No, I agree with Boston. Like, it's very plausible that because right around this time, Luke would be starting to set up the new Jedi Academy. And it's very, because you never saw from Force Awakens like how many students Luke had, and
yeah, but I mean, how does the Mandalorian even know Luke exists? But
I'm saying, but it didn't have to be in this season, but something could happen to where he could deliver.
See, I think he's going to.
I got it.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry.
The colony.
He's going to help train Kylo, and Kylo's going to kill him.
not Baby Yoda. This is a Disney Plus show.
Well, we're not going to see it on The Mandalorian.
No, they wouldn't even show the guy getting cut in half, which was the coolest thing in episode 1 by the door. That was awesome.
Because you think about how Luke starts the Jedi Academy, essentially, where Kylo Ren starts to learn the ways of the Force, but goes crazy.
Maybe
Baby Yoda could be a part of it.
From a certain point of view.
Next November, Disney Plus, Jedi Academy.
I just don't think we're going to get any Jedi stuff with the Mandalorian. I think it's more likely that there's going to be a handoff of the Yoda to perhaps maybe its parents, or maybe we actually see its lineage. Colleen?
Question. So it was explained to me that the Mandalorian fought the Jedi at some point. So why is the Mandalorian all pretending to
not know?
Sober Nick Nolte to not know who he is, or not know about the Force, or not know about any of that.
Because he's not Mandalorian.
Yeah, well, and then you think about the Force has not been used in
5 years.
No, it's like 35 years at this point. The only people because Luke is still new to Luke. He didn't know about it. Han didn't know about it. The only people that would use the Force was Vader and the Emperor. The Emperor rarely used it. It was very secret. So Vader is really the only person that is sorcerer in that entire galaxy at that point. And so it makes sense that he would have no idea what it was.
I mean, their religion is practically extinct. So, and the fact that he was an orphan himself, like as the foundling or whatever, maybe I keep thinking, like I said, that he keeps going on these different challenges and not knowing how to do something, or refusing to do something, and being kind of petulant at times. I almost feel like he's kind of coming of his own, like this is his soldier journey, and maybe season 1 is just about the Yoda bounty, and season 2 starts off with another bounty that takes us on another adventure.
Well, I guess that was one of my. I don't mind this season, but to me, it feels like it would be more like a season 3 than a season 1, because a season 1 traditionally is usually like a very hard-nosed character who's like, oh, I'm selfish. I only care about what I'm doing. And then this seems to be more like one of those where he gains a little bit of a heart of gold because he becomes the protector, but we'll see.
He could always turn in that heart of gold for that, the thing of Beskar.
True. So, he could.
We have that comment tonight about, I hope that the child gets you a good bounty.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's
a good reward or whatever it is.
But there is an underlining concern there too. The fact that he's the only bounty hunter that was given a bring it in alive request. Everyone else there was out to kill that kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there's definitely something afoot.
Big game is afoot.
Yeah. Matt, would you like to see a Sabine show up at some point in the show?
Absolutely. I would love to see anything related to Rebels appear in this show. Anything at all.
So how old would Sabine be now?
She would be in her 50s, I think.
She wouldn't be in her 50s. Oh, Sabine.
Am I thinking the wrong one?
No, Sabine
Wren's the Mandalorian.
Sabine wouldn't be in her 50s because at the end of Jedi...
Oh, you're right.
She's kind of in her 20s, I would assume.
Yeah, so
she would be in her 30s.
She'd be in her 30s. Yeah, you're right.
That would be a cool character to have in,
they'd be roughly the same age too.
It's brilliant to tie in some of, I always look at this from a marketing perspective, like what's going to make the most money. That's how the script's going to be written. Mm-hmm. So you think about like how they can bring in kids who've grown up on Clone Wars, or not Clone Wars, but Rebels, and it's right about the same time. So that's perfect. That makes a lot of sense. Like that makes a lot of sense for like a spinoff, or like maybe, who knows, maybe season 2, The Mandalorian is a real one, and it's Sabine.
Well, that's why I'm saying it. This feels more like a season 3 because you could have had a season 1 with him really just being a hard-nosed bounty hunter.
I think their whole plan though was to make this more of a family show.
Maybe
that was the surprise. I mean, they build it as a gritty kind of Western. My daughter, even watching the trailers, she was like, "I don't know if I'm going to watch it." she watches the first one. At the end, there's a baby Yoda. She's basically Colleen, like just like the whole time, like he's so cute. Like the entire time we watched episode 2, or the.
I mean, like Baby Yoda wasn't written into the show to convince every Star Wars geek's wife to watch the show with him.
Right, exactly, or kid. Like just saying that it brings the family together.
Or any male who's in tune with his sensitive side to realize that he's an absolutely adorable character.
What, guys?
What are you implying here, Chris?
I think he's freaking cute.
Guess what, guys? 9 months from now, there's going to be a Star Wars Baby Yoda baby boom.
Boomer, okay.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Mandalorian baby, I am. Pedro is not.
You don't have to convince me twice. What happened to him? He got so excited that
he got banned by the mouse.
You could only use that phrase so many times.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to take this minute though, and praise the actor that plays the Mandalorian, because it takes a lot of talent to be able to convey like the acting through the helmet and everything that they're wearing, and I think he does a really good job of making us know exactly what's going on and like how he's feeling. I really do. I just want to take a moment and be like, you go, actor.
Yeah, no, and I love
Dave
how
Prowse.
Go ahead.
Dave Prowse kind of set the way for that. Yeah.
I also like how it connects to the Watchmen. And the fact that line about masks and how they represent trauma, and pain, and the fact that this at some point we'll see him without his mask, and I think that'll be a nice reveal.
So, are they allowed to take their masks off, like shower?
I think shower. Yeah. He's got to wash that hair at some point, right?
Well, the vac too. Yeah.
So I was on Twitter the other day. I forgot what his name is, but I follow this guy on Twitter who's like he was involved in the original trilogy. I think he's like now becoming a historian of the Star Wars universe at this point. But he's been like releasing these behind the scenes videos and stories recently. And he showed, and I believe Mark Hamill actually retweeted it out. So you can probably find it easier through looking at Mark Hamill's feed, but it was a clip of behind the scenes before the ADR was added to the original Star Wars trilogy of how Harrison Ford kept on a dialogue with Chewie. And it's actually, what's his name?
Peter Mayhew.
Peter Mayhew, like yelling stuff out in this crazy British accent.
He had lines.
Yeah, and like he actually had lines, and like it's weird to hear Chewie speaking like someone from Downton Abbey, but like that's how they did it. Like, and it's hilarious. It's like, oh, okay, he actually did have lines that Harrison Ford was reacting to, which is why he always seemed to be so in tune with what he was saying.
I mean, Matt might know the name of the documentary. I forget which one it is. I've seen so many, but like there actually is a scene they show up very shortly in it where it's the Death Star scene where they're in the little control room there after they and Obi-Wan's you must stay here or other systems will suffer the same fate as Alderaan, and then then he leaves that room, and then you see Chewbacca. Originally she goes and then Han goes, oh, you said it, Chewie, but the actual line is that old man's out of his mind. And that's what Peter Mayhew says. He said, and you're right, in a very British accent, that old man's out of his mind. And you're like, but that's the line.
So
all
good.
I picture is Paul McCartney saying the lines, to be honest.
In the Liverpool accent, yeah.
Well, I don't know why, but that's all I've got.
Well, I would love to keep talking with you guys. It's always a pleasure to talk with Colleen. I mean, we don't podcast together, so it's such a special rarity to have you along. So you do a podcast, don't you?
I do a podcast. It's called The Broadcast. I do another one. So The Broadcast is a female heavy podcast in which we talk about life things. And we also do fun things like take BuzzFeed quizzes or read, naughty articles. Or one time we discovered how, by accident on air, and then we just ran with it, how Wikipedia actually lets you put really dirty pictures up there. Again, Google like a dirty thing on Wikipedia, and there are pictures, and it's allowed. That is a thing. So, but whatever. We have a lot of fun every week. And then
it's amazing what you can do with an outline.
It is amazing what you can do with outline. And then I do another show. It's based on the Survivor reality TV show. It's called Survivor with Jay, Jack, and Colleen. And we talk about Survivor. But I'm assuming if people who are listening to this, probably many of them have maybe some kind of, I don't know, awareness that I exist in a vacuum of some sort.
I hope that they do. I hope that
I mean, let's be honest. The most important thing that I do is light the match on this show.
You do.
Like the grill.
Yeah. Just because Jay farted.
I fire it up every time. Yeah, he did. In this chair. In which
well, and without your help, this podcast wouldn't be podcasted. I don't know. You bring some
podcasted. You just might not have a sizzle. It'd still get out there.
That's true. But you do bring the sizzle, and we appreciate that. So
yeah, sorry. That's all I brought today was just a sizzle and not the actual like meat and potatoes.
Sizzle you bring.
But
I am just realizing I can do a Yoda. This is actually kind of fun. I don't think I've ever tried to do it before.
Yeah, the Ramblecast all next Ramblecast tomorrow is just going to be all Yoda.
Yeah,
just Yoda.
We can do a bunch of different ones.
Interrupt! I did not.
Well, on that note.
Anyway, guys, and I hope you have me on again.
What's that?
I said thank you, and I hope that I can come back again.
Yeah. By all means, maybe we can have you back for the Mandalorian as well, or something else that we can talk Star Wars with you about.
Ooh, you're going to have about 20 seasons of it, so
apparently,
I'll catch you at some point.
Okay. So if you are a member of the Jay and Jack Network, obviously there's a website you can go to, jayandjack.com, become a patron. That is one way that you can help us out. You can help us out.
Patreon.com/jayandjack.
You're more official. See, I just go by the Jack rule of just having everybody go to jayandjack.com. But
yeah, no, don't do it by the Jack rule. Just go straight up to patreon.com/jayandjack. If you really want to go old school and have that extra step, you can go to jayandjack.com and click on the Become a Patron link on the top right-hand corner of the page. But really, go to patreon.com/jayandjack. It's just your one-stop shop.
If you go Jack's way, you have to Google 4 different things and then cross-reference 4 different URLs.
Do I need to download Internet Explorer first?
Right.
Well, it works really much better on Firefox, so you have to go there first, and then Google Jay and Jack. Once you Google Jay and Jack, you go to jayandjack.com, and then you click the link.
I don't know why Skype's not working.
Oh my gosh! Don't get him started on Skype.
He was so mad, mad about Skype.
I've sat through it several weeks for Survivor. The second time we did it, Jay was like, "How did you not figure this out after last week?"
It is his arch enemy. Other ways that you can help out the show, right? We have an Amazon affiliate link.
We do. It's jayandjack.com/Amazon, all lowercase levels, all lowercase letters.
You can buy bacon there if you want to fire that up on a grill. So
you just buy a grill.
Buy a grill.
Or you can buy a birth certificate that says you're Mandalorian.
Oh, hashtag birthergate.
Yeah, this is the Mandalorian birther gate.
I like that. And you can get other things
for short.
You can get other things there, but if you want to help us out, you can do all of those things. Rate and review us. Send us an email at theforceiswelldone@gmail.com. We would really appreciate that.
Email ever.
It is. It's my favorite thing. I remember it every time. The Force is well done gmail.com. Send us some feedback for The Mandalorian. We'd love to read that on air. So, and at this point, I'd like to thank...
Hold on. I actually asked people for feedback on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/groups/JanJackGroup. Let's see. Did anybody respond?
Sure. Yeah. Let's
hold, please. Hold on. Wait.
By the way, loving the soundtracks and the music from The Mandalorian. So
very good.
Big
very good.
And
this past episode, that even the soundtrack had a Indiana Jones feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's 3 comments. The first one is from Greg. The child is unbelievably adorable, and I loved that there wasn't any dialogue for pretty much the first third of this episode.
Yeah, it was like No Country for Old Men, Mandalorian style.
No Country for Old Mandalorians.
Oh,
I like that.
JP said, I would love to ask the guys if so far they feel that it's a show for the casual viewer who only saw the movies, or if you need to watch the cartoons and holiday special.
No, you can totally watch it.
Yeah. I don't think you have to watch any of the other stuff. And I think at this point with Star Wars stuff, I mean, you can always jump into those other things, but I think this is... Yeah, what were you going to say, Chris?
No, you got it. Nailed it. I'm with you.
Okay.
There is this network now. It's called Disney Plus, and you can it's like your one-stop shop for all these things.
Dude, how good is Disney Plus?
It is crazy because
so good.
I was gonna. You remember we talked about it a few weeks ago the Marvel Infinity box set. It's like $550 for every Marvel film.
Yeah.
It sold out in a few seconds online, but I still wanted to go see it if they had it at Best Buy and they didn't have it. But it's like, well,
you just don't want to watch it.
Well, it's like it's going to be cool to have, because it's like, but it's like, well, I can just go to Disney Plus and watch every one of those movies.
Not all of them.
Oh, they're not all on there?
Not all of the episodes are on or movies are on.
They will be, but they're probably waiting for people to buy the discs first.
Mm.
Marketing. It's Christmas. Wait until January 15th once everyone's got their Christmas gifts and it's outside the return policy. Then they'll be on Disney Plus.
And it's like, I was trying to end this show and she just brought feedback into it.
It's okay. It's all right.
And then the last bit of feedback is from Amanda. My husband and son are diehard, know everything about Star Wars, from the movies to the books and everything in between. They're absolutely addicted to The Mandalorian and can't wait for the next episode to drop. Unfortunately, since they are just now beginning to make me watch every movie from the beginning, I can't give you much more info than that. Well, Amanda, stay subscribed and
Amanda, I have a question back for you. So as the wife of a Star Wars nerd who is finally, quote unquote, getting to watch all of the movies.
Well, you're the husband of one, correct? Or she's the wife of one. Okay.
She's the wife of one, yeah. So what was it? How did they get you to do it? Because that is something I'm trying to get my wife to do as well. So if you could get back to us about that.
And the more important question, what order did they make you watch the movies in?
Machete. Rogue One Machete.
Yeah, that's what I said. Rogue One Machete. Yeah.
But yeah, so get back to us. I want to know, what was it that actually drew you into actually sitting down and finally listening to your husband and son? Because I want that to be what happens in my house.
I just trapped my wife with the Rebels. I got the kids on board, and eventually she just kind of was like, "Wait, now what's happening? Who is that person, and why is this happening to this?" So
I thought you Clockwork Oranged her, where you put her in the chair and got the things, and then gets the eye drops in every so many minutes. Just you're gonna like Star Wars, aren't you?
No, I drug her to see. I think episode.
You drugged her?
I drugged her. I was trying to end this podcast, and now
you gave her some death sticks.
I took her to see episode 3.
Took her?
In the movie theater, I took her. Chris's expression is great. It's like, I was just trying to end this by thanking some very special patrons who may not want me to thank them now.
They want nothing to do with you.
Thank you to Eckhart Tech, Maggie, Joanne.
Wait, no, I have special names for them. They're all Star Wars themed.
Oh, Oh my goodness.
I was trying to work on new ones, so I apologize. These are the same as last week, but Tack from Tatooine.
Super pay attention right now.
Tack from Tatooine, Eckhart 2 to Eckhart 7. Richter, old buddy, do you read me? Joanne with the stolen Death Star plans, Ed the creepy Jedi, Maggie from Malachor, and Drake the Super Star Destroyer. Thanks for doing what you do. Thanks.
Nice job, dude. That was pretty darn good.
Yeah, especially Joanne with the stolen Death Star plans. I mean, that is a great one.
She works for NASA. I mean, come on, right?
She clearly has Death Star plans.
I would think so.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you to all the patrons, but special thanks to those patrons for making that happen. And
I do have to say, Jay said that I was like, oh, they only record for like an hour. And he was like, you're kind of like the X Factor there. They're definitely going to go over.
Yeah.
We did go over a little bit. Maybe 5 more minutes than when we talked to Jack.
All right, well, I'm out. Bye, guys.
This is a Mandalorian. Wait. A Rambalorian cast?
A Rambalorian cast.
But is he a Mandalorian?
Not really.
All right,
I'm
guys.
not Mandalorian, but I play one on TV.
Please let me come back. Bye.
All right. Great show, guys. One in a, I don't know, Suka?
A Mandalorian.
One in a parsec.
One in a parsec? One in a Mandalorian. Wait. There's too many one in us.
Good night.